Pike County Fiscal Court's in order. I'll have the clerk to call the roll, please.
Judge Rutherford.
Present.
Magistrate Anderson.
Here.
Magistrate Johnson will be here. Magistrate Murphy. Here. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dotson. Magistrate Harris.
Here.
We have a quorum. We now have Pledge of Allegiance led by Magistrate Murphy. I have reviewed the minutes of the April 17 meeting, and Jeannie has reviewed them, found them to be correct. You all have them in your packet. Are there any questions or corrections? If not, I'll have a motion to approve. I have a motion, Magistrate Murphy, to have a second. Second, Magistrate Robinson. I have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy. Yes. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dotson.
Yes.
Magistrate Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes. Next, we have someone present today that the Pike County government, Pike County Fiscal Court, is going to honor, and it's something that's well deserved. We have with us Darrell Maynard, and let me say this, that, Pike County's got a lot of national awards, but the one that all of us is most proud of is the Veterans Hall of Honor. And I went to Darrell Maynard and asked him to come by my office and discuss with me on a concept that we had to do a Veterans Hall of Honor. And he came and brought, I think, 2 employees with him the first time, and discussed the fact of using a computer. We had some ideas and concepts, but he said it can be done, and went down in the Hall of Honor, and all of us can remember that they had our veterans and our active members of the armed forces was in the hallway, but they was taped on the wall or glued on the wall, and both sides of the wall was completely full. It wasn't a pretty picture in a way to honor our veterans and our active men and women in the armed forces. So we decided to change that. And a lot of work went in by my staff and by Darrell Maynard and his people at the telephone company. And based on all the work that everybody did together, they ended up with the Veterans Hall of Honor and received a national award. We want to recognize Darrell Maynard today for his input. He brought to us Mr. Parsons, who we honored at the last court, and who said, I am a veteran, and I won't charge anything. I work on night and the weekend. And he was here the last court meeting, Mr. Parsons, and he is now employed by Right Way Construction. And still, Penny, who handles that, still has to consult, and he's always available to Penny to keep this computer system in a working order. So Darrell, the people of Pike County and the veterans of Pike County and all the veterans organizations in the county certainly appreciate you being a community leader, and you are a community leader in our community, the input that you gave us. But your input to county government didn't stop there. Had a concept of having a public television station. So I called again, Jeannie called Darrell Maynard and said, I guess he told him, said, well, the judge has got something else on his mind. You need to stop by the office he wants to talk to you about. we talked about a public television station being established in Pike County and started working on it. That was about 4.5, 5 years ago, Darrell. And from that, it ended up in a trip to over at Wise, Virginia, to a public television station, to Lexington, to Northern Kentucky, to Louisville, to Lexington, to the ad district even in Lexington that was operating a public station for Clark County at Winchester, Kentucky. But we didn't know nothing. And I'm talking about myself and my staff. We didn't know anything at all in regard of how to start a public television station from scratch. Darrell, and his knowledge and expertise, was able to guide us through the first steps of a process, and a process was put together. And later, when we was almost ready, and at that time the Wall Street hadn't fell, and there was money available, and when we was ready to come to this body and say we're ready to put in, and the money's available to put in a public television station. And I got a phone call when I was having a conference with the city manager. And Donovan Blackburn, when I got off the telephone, said, "Are you close to putting in a public television station?" And I said, "Yes, Pike TV." And he said, "Well, you know, we've talked about it. Why don't we do it together?" So we ended up bringing the city on board. And then later a board was established, a chairman was elected, and we began, and now we have Pike TV. It's in about 22,000 plus homes in Pike County. So, Darrell Maynard, I recognize you today for your input in regard to Pike TV. It would have never, ever been established in this county if it had not been from you with your expertise in regard to the technology that is used that we had to become a little bit familiar with over the months and years that we worked in establishing this television station. We had problems. We had editorials wrote against the TV station and all, but we overcame it. And we established it, and today it's in all those homes, and people love it. People of this county, we're talk about transparency. We have more transparency in this county now than any county in the Commonwealth or other counties that have a public television station. We were blessed to find Al Greenfield and his expertise, and Al had come to us from Lexington, Kentucky, by the way of Nashville, where, of course, he was down there for about 4 years with Crook and Chase Show, being the producer and director. And we was able to, after a lengthy search throughout the country, to find somebody to come in and start this station from scratch. But Darrell Maynard, we want to say and recognize you today for this, and you are a community leader. You're involved in so much in this community. If it's a good call, Darrell Maynard is the one that they look to. And folks, I've served on boards and commissions with him. He don't come to just sit. He wants to see something happen. So, Judge Hayes, I'd ask you if you would read this resolution of the Pike County Fiscal Court today.
Resolution recognizing Darrell Maynard for his community partnership by the Pike County Fiscal Court, whereas Darrell Maynard became somewhat of an entrepreneur early in life by delivering newspapers, mowing lawns, and selling vacuum cleaners in his native Michigan. And whereas Mr. Maynard went on to study electrical engineering at Michigan Tech, and while studying there, was coerced into selling vacuums in Lexington, Kentucky. While selling vacuums in Prestonsburg, Mr. Maynard made his way to Pikeville, where he and his family now live. And whereas the coal boom was at full strength at that time, and Mr. Maynard sold so many vacuums, he decided to stay in Pikeville. And whereas Mr. Maynard joined DLM Construction with his father and uncle and began his life as an electrical contractor with the company. And whereas Mr. Maynard later opened a stereo shop and started performing work as a mobile DJ. And whereas Mr. Maynard later opened a roller skating rink at what was called the Blue Goose Gym during the disco era. And whereas he later became known as the telephone guy and offered low-cost dial-up internet service. And whereas Mr. Maynard assisted Pike County in establishing and implementing the Pike County Veterans Hallway, which has won a National Achievement Award from the National Association of Counties, as well as assisting Pike TV in becoming established and become the success that it has become. Now, therefore, we do hereby proclaim Darrell Maynard as a community partner for his work in assisting Pike County in these many endeavors. Witness this by hand, this the 27th day of April, 2012, and executed by the County Judge Executive, the entire court, all 6 magistrates, and the county attorney.
Let me say that the Maynard family is an old family that came to this county many generations ago. Matter of fact, his uncle Woodrow, and I've told him this before, was certainly a part of me ever getting into politics in this county. Woodrow was one of the people that were my mentors of about 5 different people that I talked to before I made the race the first time in 1969 for judge. But Darrell, it's certainly a pleasure, and I'll ask you to come around and ask the magistrates wherever he wants us to stand, and I'd like to make this presentation to you.
Johnny, you want to go back and have your picture tuck with me?
I'll have one with you.
How about Rose? You ready, Rose, have a picture tuck with us? Sure.
Nope, not until he gets it out. She's not much about the court yet. So wait till he does it. No, I got it for you as soon as he does that. Gotta wait though. It's not official until he presents it.
You want a copy of the resolution?
You know, he called yesterday wanting the budget. I'm like, I can't get it out yesterday. It's
Well,
got to wait
he
till
knows
the
if he
court
doesn't start
acknowledges it.
asking a week ahead, he won't get it.
He don't ask me for things. He would get it right then. When? I think he called Rhonda because he called Brandon, called in there where I was. Ain't presented it to the court yet. It ain't official. Too many people do.
Judge Hayes, our friend Charles Sloan is very ill, so we need to add him to everybody's prayer list. I'd hate to hear that from Chick, but but this is a special call Pike County Fiscal Court meeting, and the only thing that we can take up or even discuss today at this meeting will be what's on the court's agenda. Why are we having a special court meeting is to comply with the Kentucky statute in regard to the preparation of a budget for next budget year. And so we had to call a meeting today, and we appreciate, I know some of the magistrates had to drive back in from a meeting out of town, but the purpose of us being here, and that's the reason we're here today. But we do have on the agenda today the adoption of a resolution for grant for Shelby Valley Fire Department, amount of $50,000. And would you explain that,
Yes.
please?
There is a grant for Shelby Valley Fire Department that's in the current state biennium budget, and it listed it for Shelby Valley Fire Department equipment acquisition. And Darrell Compton, the fire chief, has informed me that they would like to use this money for a building addition rather than equipment acquisition. So I contacted Amy Barnes with DLG, and she recommended that this is the process we go through, is the court just adopt this resolution as a grant for the $50,000, and we'll forego the money in the budget. And that way they get the money for what they need it for.
Magistrate Johnson brought this to my attention, so we need a motion from Magistrate Johnson. Have a motion, Magistrate Johnson, a second by Magistrate Murphy, and have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson. Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dotson.
Yes.
Magistrate Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes.
Judge, while we're on that matter with Rhonda, I laid some papers on your desk that you had to have for the cabin down at
Joe's Creek?
Joe's Creek.
Yes.
That's what you wanted, wasn't it? Have it in by today?
That will be great. Yes, this will work.
Okay. On the other matter, did you find out, could we spend that money on upgrading the swimming pool area with some equipment and tables and chairs over at Johnson Bottom? You said we had to have that also turned in.
Yes.
Did you find out on
Yes.
that?
Yes, we can do that as recreational equipment. Yes.
Okay. Do you need some kind of an estimate on that, or is it just when we get ready?
When you get ready to draw the money down, I will need an estimate. Yes.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Judge.
Okay, thank you, Magistrate Dotson. Next, we need to adopt a resolution. This is from Virginia Transportation Department, VDOT, they need to verifying a joint project for Elk Creek Tunnel bypass. They have asked for that, and so Magistrate Dotson, you are very familiar with this, and Mr. County Attorney, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, Judge, this is actually, the request was from the Norfolk and Southern Railway, which has to do some work and has some of the property needed for the bypass road, and they wanted verification from Virginia and Pike County, Kentucky, that they were jointly working on this project. So this resolution is essentially somewhat like the one that they passed in Buchanan County, Virginia, and Lee Moise, my counterpart over in Buchanan County, asked that if we would adopt the resolution. So I prepared the one in the package, and I would recommend the passage. It doesn't have any additional obligations by the county. It just verifies what we've done over the past 2 years, I guess, this project's been going on. So
Are there any questions, Magistrate Dotson?
This problem been going on for some time now, and people's asked me about when they were going to get started on it, and I guess, let's turn VDOT loose once this is approved, or
they are having to deal with the railroad company, and as we can speak from past experience, I don't know which I would rather deal with, the Corps of Engineers or a railroad company, but it is proceeding. But I don't want to mislead you and tell you that it's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 weeks. But they're working. VDOT is working out details with Norfolk and Southern Railway, and that after that it will proceed.
do you need a motion?
Yes.
I'll make a motion.
Motion for Magistrate Dotson, have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Magistrate Johnson, have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson. Yes. Magistrate Johnson. Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dotson.
Yes.
Magistrate Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes. Appointments to the golf board. We have several vacancies on that needs to be reappointed. We have 2 ready today, Jeannie, and one will be Mike Blackburn. who lives at Meta, who is the Alpha Natural Resources local person here. And the other one is a member now, is Nancy Casey, school board, and the school board certainly needs representation on there to make sure that the school systems are involved with the county golf course over there. So I'll make those recommendations. Are there any questions or?
Judge, is somebody coming off or these new appointments or?
We have three whose terms is up. We have four whose terms are up or close to being up. And Mr. Casey's already on there. Mr. Blackman will be replacing one of the three. And two of the three has, one with health reasons, not been able to attend the board meeting. The other one has not attended any board meetings. But there are three on there.
Do you know who he is replacing?
We'll come to the court the next time after Judge Hayes is going to contact the others and have a conversation with them of whether or not they want to be reappointed. But they can only have so many members, and I will only give you a recommendation on so many members that's on the board.
I'd hate to vote to put somebody off that was wanting to stay on. You know, we've got one guy there, he's a preacher at Jim Absher that's real active in it, and I didn't know whether or not taking him off or...
He's already talked to Mr. Absher.
Actually, Mr. Dodson, I tried to call him yesterday. He was out when I called. He has had a conversation with me which led me to believe he may or may not want to be on, and I'm going to follow up and make sure one way or another. He's a good friend of mine, too, and I don't... we certainly wouldn't want to put a good man off of there, but we're finding out. We've got one member that's never attended a meeting. I've yet to talk with him. We've got another member that hadn't attended in a long time, but that's due to health reasons. And so I have touched base with him, but I want to talk with this member who's not ever come for whatever reason. But we'll know the next meeting, okay?
Okay, and are we still going to be appointing board members, although the golf course is going to go under new management? Or
have anything to do with the operation of the board? It'll still be
have a separate board that will...
Well, the board, the other is just a management agreement. Any other questions? If Mr. Absher wants to be reappointed, I will recommend him to be reappointed. Go ahead. I really wouldn't want to name any names because we've made a statement that some has attended and some haven't.
Judge, we can, the members of the board now are Joe Jett Friend, John Paul Runyon, Jim Absher, Hobart Clay Johnson. Hobart Clay's been very active. And did I get them all? I don't
Answer.
Mr. Scott.
Yeah.
Andrew.
Judge, the county attorney just mentioned something, and I think he's correct. I don't think that these appointments all start and end at the same time, although I've not looked at the code in that regard. Do you recall, Jeannie? And what we may do in light of this is, the reason that is important, we've got to designate, or this court on approval designates the slot that they go into. In other words, if it's a 2-year slot, a 3-year slot, a 4-year slot, and most of our boards have that type of revolving mechanism. And so based on that, to answer some of these questions, we may just want to pass this over into our next meeting.
Recommendation, the county attorney to be passed, put on the agenda for the next court meeting. And by that time, Jeannie, we need to find out. By that time, Judge Hayes can make his telephone calls, and we will also look up and I think those are for 2, 3, or 4-year appointments.
I'll make a motion. Will you pass it to the next meeting?
Got a
Second.
motion by Magistrate Harris, have a second. Have a second, Magistrate Dodson, have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson. Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes. Purpose of this meeting is for the 2012-2013 budget. And it's ironic, but in the Lexington paper today was an article that really comes home to us. It gave a United States Energy Information Administration projection for coal production in Central Appalachia, which includes eastern Kentucky, parts of West Virginia, Virginia, and Tennessee. Will drop from 2010 level of 184 million tons of coal to 132 million within the next 2 years. Then, by 2015, it's projected to go down to 86 million tons. Now, I might add, this is because of the environmental regulations that's been imposed by the Obama administration on the Central Appalachian coal industry only. Don't even cover Western Kentucky coal. But that's not all. That's not all. That's just what the environmental side has caused. I know that they've not been a permit. And if you all watched television on C-SPAN, the hearing that our Congressman Hal Rogers had, and had Lisa Jackson, the point person for the Obama administration, for the committee, the Appropriations Committee of the House, which Hal Rogers is chairman, and he asked her point blank, how many permits had been issued in Central Appalachia for mining surface mine coal? She couldn't tell him. And he said, I'll tell you why you can't tell me. It's been zero. Not one had been issued in the last year or so in Central Appalachia. But we got to remember that 11 months they had to get permits to mine mountaintop removal surface mine coal in Central Appalachia. And several hundred permits were approved during that 11-month period. Today, they are mining on those permits. Those permits will last another 2 or 3 years and won't have an impact on this budget we're talking about. But once that those play out and the deadline comes, I know that I was talking to a coal operator last week at Williamsburg, and he said, we're moving to another site for a mountaintop removal. And I said, well, you got a permit? He said, oh, no, this is one of the old permits. He said, once we do that job, we will be cutting off all the employees and be parking the equipment because there are no permits being issued. Charles Carlton and I talked last week about the Environmental Protection Agency has even issued Hatch a regulation in regard to deep mining coal on the seam. So now they have killed our mining as we know it. We will have no market for Central Appalachian coal. No market. You can't sell it. They can't burn it. Why? Because EPA has said no more power plants from coal. Folks, coal, electric generation, equals all other known, and I'm talking about natural gas, nuclear, water, air, and all. It's about 50-50. There's no way that they cannot use coal, but they're not going to use Central Appalachian coal. Coal's going to come from somewhere else. Like we discovered on the AEP, Kentucky Power Company's request for rate increase. Yes, they're going to buy 30% of the coal from the Big Sandy, but the 70% was coming from another state. So, I mean, it's that type of situation. what the situation is also, that about a fourth of the power generating plants for electricity are over 40 years of age, and they will be retrofitting them under the EPA regulation. Folks, EPA, under what they're saying, no more. So those will be changed over to natural gas or whatever. So this budget round, we're not impacted by because we are still. If you go down Floyd County, right beside the road is a mountaintop removal site. You can see it. And everybody's wondering, well, all of this publicity, how are they mining? Well, they're mining on one of those permits I told you about in that 11-month period. Jack Sykes told me the engineering firm was requested for more application permits in that 11 months than it was the last 5 years. So this budget will not be impacted from it, but in future years, we're not going to have any coal severance tax. If they've already done away with our mountaintop, nearly 50% of what we mine today is for coal generation. That's gone. So we, in future years, our revenue flow that we have had all these years from coal severance tax is going to be down. And I know at the leadership conference in Prestonsburg, they had a recommendation, and I was sad that they didn't ask for more coal severance tax to be returned. We only get 12%. When I proposed the coal severance tax, 100% was supposed to come back to the local government for economic development. But the purpose of us being here today is the budget. I want to thank each commissioner and director, because we've asked you over the last year to help us in our budget situation, and you have helped us. I want to thank my staff in the office. I want to thank Judge Hayes and Brenda, who a year ago predicted that we was going to be here in this situation today. We are down some 30 employees from the time that I took office on the last term till now. We have taken a lot of more than $1 million out on personnel. We know what our insurance situation is, but we are blessed to have a treasurer that's experienced. We're blessed to have a finance director who does a great job in the CPA. And we can, as Hillman says every time he sees me, we'll live through this. We'll make it, and we will. We'll make it. But what we have to do, and also I've said that this last term of mine was the first time that we never had a rainy day fund, which the legislature had discussions this time about requiring us to have one. And we didn't have an equipment fund. We got major problems in regard to equipment. So hopefully, as I said, our projection, as you all know, as the court knows, when I say the treasurer, finance director, and myself presented you a budget that was passed last year, and thank the Lord that we was in our projections. And when we got that last quarter and we was $26,000 for the good, we could breathe a little deeper and get out of this year. And due to the commissioners and director, and due to what our personnel people had done this year, combining and not hiring, and we know at one time we was going to cut 22 off. We ended up, I think, 9 or something like that, because they'd already taken action. But I want to turn this over to our treasurer and let her make a presentation on what a proposed budget is. We will have to follow the procedure set out in the statute, and adjustments will be made by all of us to this budget as we get till the final thing is that we do the final budget and submit it to Frankfurt for approval. I do what I don't have to do. It's under the statute. They say that the county judge and the treasurer and the finance director, that we prepare a budget and submit it to the court. We don't do that. I never have done that here since they changed the statute. It used to be the county attorney and a citizen member, and they did the budget and submitted it. We bring the magistrates in on the front end of the budget, like we're doing today, and we start through the process together, because this body here has to make the final vote and has to get a budget that's submitted to Frankfurt and approved. We, Madam Treasurer, I know that we have relied on Junior Wright a lot for advice as we've done our budget, and he no longer is with them, but our treasurer has a relationship with Junior, and I'm sure she can still pick his brain, Bobby. But Madam Treasurer, I'm going to turn it over to you and for a presentation on this year's budget.
Judge, I got one thing I want to talk about before we go into that budget.
Go right ahead.
And up there in my district, we got an old weed mower. It's about a 47 model, I believe. It's one of them old blue ones. And it stays broke down half the time. Now, this week, we ain't even got a backhoe. It's broke down. And according to what Greg said, the other one's over the garage, and we ain't got no extra one over there now. So what we gonna do? We ain't got no equipment. Close up shop?
I know what you mean.
I said, if we ain't got no equipment to operate, we might as well close up shop. I got a backhoe, need a backhoe bad. Okay.
Master
Yeah, them
Dodson
old tractors.
said-
I got one of them old Ford tractors, one of the oldest in the bunch. Can I borrow one of them?
Good shape, fellas. That's
I
what
believe
we
in
have-
the sharing.
That's what we have to do is work
I
together.
believe in sharing, moving around.
Good shape.
Well, if you need one, I'll loan you the old blue and back. Okay.
Madam Treasurer. Thank you, Master Johnson.
Judge, in preparing this budget, we have, as we always try to be very conservative with our revenue figures, because we don't want to get into a bind. If some of them go over, and knowing how mineral and coal change from year to year, that we can't depend on it like we used to be able to. Back in 09-10, 08-09, I think it was, we had $6,700,000 coming in on mineral severance tax, and we only got $3,058,000 this year.
Wow.
$3,058,000. So we know, and by coming quarterly, that sort of puts you in a bind, because you need to try and keep your expenses down through the first 3 quarters to make sure that that last quarter is not going to really set you in a tailspin to try and get to June 30th in a balanced budget. So I commend everybody for realizing that we are in conservative times, more so than we have ever been, trying to put budgets together for these last 4 years. We need to continue that. We had last year $2,296,922 projected as surplus. This year has $2,073,209 in projected surplus, which is down $223,713. But this budget is $1,990,915 more than last year's, because this is a $36,110,924. Nothing has really changed. I can print off budget comparisons from year to year, and people are more than welcome to look at it. As a matter of fact, some of the places were on to say, why were we going down? And I'm like, well, if you look at it, that's what we spent, so we shouldn't bump it up anywhere. We have tried to cover the cost of what is anticipated. We took a 90% plan with our health insurance. We've been paying 90% of the premium, trying to see if we could save any money. Based on what we've heard so far, I figure we're going to have to pay the 10%. So the health insurance has the 10%, plus this current policy funded fully at 100%, and then the possibility of up to a 15% increase. You try to, with your health insurance, make sure you have, if an employee is single and they get married, or have a child, move from different areas, that they have room to do that within your budget too. Our tax collection was good this year. I hope it continues. In doing that, the delinquent property tax goes down because not as many people are having their tickets sold. Maybe that's what's driving the collections up for the sheriff. And the clerk has done real well with her motor vehicle property tax. The budget is still a skeleton budget, and I ask that you all please be conservative so we know once we get into the budget where we're going to go to with those actual revenue figures on the coal and minerals, since everything is so iffy. If we had a crystal ball and could tell what June 30th is, it'd make our life much easier. But based on historic data, and that's all we can go on. So the surpluses could even change from what I'm projecting now to June 30th. It just depends. But hopefully it'll stay close to where we're at and we don't have to make any big adjustments.
Any questions?
John, the budget you're working on here now that we just received, is that, you say, a 90% on our insurance? Is that, we had 80-20 last year, right?
No, I'm not talking about that. The premium that the fiscal court is paying on our employees, we're paying a 90% rate, not the 100% of the premium, anticipating that we may have had better claims experience and not had to have paid the full amount.
So is this going to be the same insurance that we had last year, what we were talking about in this budget?
We don't know that until we see what the renewal rates come back at to see if we can adjust it or change it, however you all wish the direction to go.
Okay, are we going to have enough surplus in there to open our pools up and maybe give the employees a raise, which they haven't had, a small raise or something, for the last 3 or 4 years? Are we going to have enough money to look at doing something like that?
Those are things that the court will need to make decisions on. There's nothing in there at this point in time. There is, after we have made the adjustments, and barring that we did make any, numerical miscalculations anywhere, hopefully we didn't. There is a line item in the LGA fund that says reserved for emergencies of $413,000. That we hoped would have gone for doing a lease package to do some equipment. But, as a court, you're all the ones that has to make the decisions. You can leave it there and see how the revenues come in. Do whatever you need.
Madam Treasurer, you got the $600,000 back in the budget that wasn't appropriated for the magistrates on their
Correct.
laptop.
The court last year, we used coal severance funding on the magisterial infrastructure for Chris only had 100,000, Jeff had about 150, Hillman had about 100, you three had your 200,000, which has been used with them to do their blacktopping and buy some equipment. The county only funded it at 175,000, but that extra 100,000 bring you back to the prior county funding level of 1011 is back in there at 275.
The reason I was asking about the pools, Judge, is, we're working on probably less than a month now, or a little over a month, to open them. And if we're going to be able to do that, I'd asked the last court meeting that we advertised to see if we could get some bids on people running the pool or us running it ourselves, or how we might do that. And, in my opinion, we need to try to open our pools up.
I'm having the same problem up there in my district. I believe I had this week about 5 or 6 calls, besides the call before. When I was going to open up the pool, I started to them, I don't know, and I quit saying that. And I said, well, we're trying to. I didn't know.
That's a decision that this court will have to make, of whether or not you call back employees that's cut off, or whether or not you open pools, and as the treasurer give, you'll have options. And that will be a decision that this body will have to make, whether or not, that you talked about, our employees haven't had a raise Judge Hayes, you're the personnel manager.
This will be the third year, Judge. If we give no raises this year, it'll be the third continuous year with no raises.
So, I mean, that's some of the things that we'll have to make the decisions on as a body of whether or not our employees and our insurance, as Magistrate Dotson raised a question on and asked a question on.
You had to bring it down to between the swimming pools and that, because this is a whole budget, you were working on.
It's in
That's correct.
One thing on
But
another.
it's the options we have as we discuss
But you didn't
it.
have to blame it whether people's going to get a raise or where me and him had a swimming pool. You're trying to make it that way.
I'm not gonna make
We
it.
don't want, me and him don't want that people out here in this district think we locked them out of raise, and you sit here like a big shot. That's what I'm
No,
trying to
the
say.
employees has been in to see me in droves in the last month. County employees asking about if this court was going to be able to give them a raise.
But you said there a while ago, it's going to be left to the swimming pool, the people.
Well, that'll be one of the options that we
All kind
have.
of options in this budget we need to sit down and look at.
Correct.
Don't blame it on me and him
Big
because we
com-
want a swimming pool, because
Oh.
knock these other fellas out of a raise.
I
That ain't no good.
want swimming pools, chick.
Well, you didn't act like it.
I want them anyway. I do.
Well, Judge,
So
you know,
these are
I don't want
things,
to get the public out there to have a swimming pool because these people's laid off. Let's go through that budget teeth and see what we can find in it.
That's correct.
when would
And
you all
that's
like
what
to
the
have a
purpose
work
of this
session,
is.
guys? I would like to be able, if we could, at the next regular meeting on the 15th, to be ready to have our first reading so we could get it to Frankfurt and get it approved as to form and classification. So in the next 2 weeks, we need to set up work sessions and everybody come together and
Well, John, we were supposed to have a work session today, and what was told to me last meeting, wasn't it? We were supposed to have a work session on our budget.
Not as I know of.
I didn't even know they was going to have a meeting today till 11 o'clock, and I got my budget through the mail. I didn't even know we were supposed to have a meeting today. I don't remember.
So we have to vote on we have to have a budget passed by June the 1st?
Correct.
Okay, so
we have to have the first reading of a budget by June
the
1st.
So,
It has to be adopted before July 1st.
Correct.
okay, so we need to have a work session before the last meeting in May, right?
Which is May 15th, in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Correct.
Well, Judge, I'd like to make a motion, we accept the budget as proposed, acknowledge what we've got
Acknowledge the
here, and then
acceptance
set up a
of the
work
budget as
session for
proposed.
the next few days and take, like Chick said, go through it, see what we've got any extra.
That's what we need to do, and it needs to be dissected, as Magistrate Johnson said, and we need to take a look at it and make decision on what's best for the people of the county. And as Magistrate Dotson said, we will survive and move on and try to keep this county. And let me add, and I noticed this at the leadership conference. My father-in-law's in the hospital. I didn't get to go yesterday down to Prestonsburg, but wanted to go. That they have discussed this situation down to the leadership conference in Prestonsburg. But certainly that this coal severance tax situation is as bad as it is, and this year we don't have to, it's not going to impact our budget. Don't look like hardly any at all due to the fact that they're still mining that steam coal that's being sold. But we have a motion to accept the budget.
Second.
Have a second by Magistrate Anderson. We have a roll call vote, please. Acknowledge, Madam Clerk,
Acknowledge receipt of the budget.
as we have received the copy to comply with the statute.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dotson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Ruth?
Yes. Madam Treasurer, you have some other business to take up?
Authorize any,
John, before we get off the budget, if you don't care to make me, I'd like to have a couple of things that you can put together for me, if you would.
Okay.
The budget comparisons
okay,
for this year versus the previous year, and then our actual expenditures for the 11-12 budget versus what our budget was, budgeted amounts were.
okay,
If you don't care to get those for me, thank you.
okay. Authorize,
Set a work session.
while we're on discussion of the budget, do you all want to set work sessions now for next week?
How about,
Give us the,
Well, for the next week.
How about May the, is there any particular day? I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I'm. The second week of May be better. How about the 9th in the evening?
What are you waiting so long for?
We don't vote on it until the 15th. How about the 2nd?
Jeannie, what about our, Jeannie, have you got a copy of our schedule?
I'm looking at through next Friday. What about,
Now, they're going to all be going to that coal, that's why we,
that's over on Thursday, isn't it? You want to do it next Friday?
whatever they decide, that's,
I'd rather do it in the, would you all rather do it in the evening?
that's fine with me.
I would rather do it in the evening.
I had two written in.
How about on Wednesday the 2nd at 6?
No, that's the coal show still.
Oh, okay. How about the 9th? 9th would be fine. 9th? All right. No, the 9th. It'll be Wednesday the 9th at 6.
And that gives you, that doesn't.
Gives you 6 days.
Either one would be all right with me, but which one wants it?
What, Leah?
7th, 8th, or 9th, and they're either way.
Any of those days are fine with me too. 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Jeannie, what do we got?
Next Friday's open completely.
Well, we want to do it in the evening. I'd rather not do it on Friday evening.
Okay, well, I need to go print some more the rest of the other month then. Let me go print May and I'll be right back. Okay?
Want me to go on?
Go
Judge?
ahead, Madam Treasurer. If she gets back, we'll go back to Magistrate Hart.
Authorizing necessary transfers and intra-fund transfers to pay the bills, payroll, health, and life insurance.
Have a motion? Have a motion and have a second from Magistrate Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
I'm sorry. I was talking when the motion was made.
Authorizing necessary transfers and interfund to pay the payroll, health, life insurance.
Okay. I'll abstain.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Where's a copy of the
Mr. County Attorney.
Judge, this is the second reading of a budget amendment in summary form. It's an ordinance relating to fiscal year 2011-2012 annual budget amendment thereof. Total amended receipts of $328,442.91. Total amended appropriations of a like amount of $328,442.91. This is the second reading. The first reading approved by the fiscal court on April 17th and duly approved as to form and classification by the state local finance officer. Requires second and a majority vote, or motion, second and majority vote.
Need a motion? Have a motion, Magistrate Murphy. Have a second, Magistrate Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. Madam Treasurer.
Judge, this is a first reading of a budget amendment for, in summary form of an ordinance relating to fiscal year 2011-2012 annual budget and amendment thereof. Total amended receipts of $228,093. Total amended appropriations of like amount of $258,093. This is the first reading and will need to be approved by the state local finance officer, duly advertised, and we can vote on it if it's duly advertised at the next court meeting.
Madam Clerk, let the record show that's the first reading. Madam Treasurer.
receipts are supposed to be 258 too, Roland. You said 228 on the receipts first.
250, did I say that?
Madam Clerk,
You
no.
said it on the receipts, expenditures, right?
correction.
Would it be easier to number those amendments?
This one's number 7.
Okay, so you know the number. We
Yeah.
just, okay. It
Six
might be
was-
better to put that on our
The second reading was for number 6, and the first reading's for number 7.
okay.
Yeah, it says amendment number and ordinance number.
That would help me keep it straight a little better.
Yeah.
It's not, but it doesn't appear on our.
This is to try and start cleaning this up to get us to June 30th. Frankie has informed me that Frankfurt is not processing any payments for us on our floods that are open until they get previous counties and previous floods called up to date to where they can start coming forward. So I'm trying to take all that money out and get us reconciled and a better looking budget is to have where we didn't get money and some that went over, and just trying to get everything ready for the close.
Madam Treasurer.
Authorize the issuance of a check in the amount of $50,000 to the Pike County Senior Citizens Program from pass-through LGDF funds A401-02. This is, as I told you the other day, I had to amend the other 50 in order to give her the rest. So
Do we have a motion, please?
Motion.
Have a motion, have a second. Mr. Murphy, have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson? Yes. Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Yes. Mr. Robinson? Yes. Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Ruthford?
Yes.
We need to authorize the judge to sign the change of agents collateral agreement with Community Trust Bank on our deposits there. They're changing to Morgan, Keegan and Company and just need to have a new collateral security agreement executed.
Have a motion.
Second.
Have a motion, have a second. Mr. Murphy, have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Yes. Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yeah, has the county attorney looked over the agreement, the collateral security agreement?
Upstairs and got sent up to me. This is the standard form that.
Just to change who the agent is,
Okay, so you're,
to guarantee the money.
okay, so you've looked at it, you're okay? Okay, I'll vote yes.
Whenever, I can explain what a collateral security agreement is. When Ed Hadgett was our auditor for the state, he was formerly in banking, and he put more teeth into making sure that if a bank goes defunct, that inside their minutes is this collateral agreement that we would get our money back, not just having securities pledged against it, but there's actual more teeth with these collateral security agreements that we would not lose money.
Any other question? If not, Madam Treasurer.
Authorize the expenses associated for Frankie Stacy to attend the Kentucky Emergency Management Recovery Branch First Applicant Agent Certification Program in the United States, May 21st through the 25th, 2012, in Frankfort, Kentucky, for lodging, meals, and mileage.
Do I have a motion? Motion. Mr. Murphy, have a second. Mr. Robinson, have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Ruthford?
Yes.
I have no further business, Judge.
Thank you, Madam Treasurer.
We missed road work.
We have the magistrate's road work.
Motion.
Motion, Magistrate Anderson. We have a second. Have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Yes. Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Ruthford?
Yes. Judge Hayes, you provided us, you and Brenda, with only 3 things for the special call meeting on the agenda on personnel. You know of any reason you ought to have a full session?
Judge, I've provided each one of the magistrates with an agenda setting forth those 3 matters. Unless someone requests that we go into executive session, I'm prepared to handle them here. I might add that you've got your magistrate's comments on the agenda also, Judge, but we can go ahead and do this. Judge, before I do that, if you would allow me to make a brief statement.
Go right ahead.
I know that you and as a result, all of Pike County and all Pike Countyans were highly honored this past Monday when the University of the Cumberlands bestowed upon our County Judge Executive Wayne T. Rutherford a Doctorate of Laws degree. I happened to have the privilege to be there at that impressive ceremony. Another Pike Countyan, by the way, also received a doctorate degree, a doctorate of administration, I believe, and that was Charles Baird. But I just want to commend and congratulate you on behalf of this court, on behalf of the people of this county, for the awarding of the Doctorate of Laws degree. And as a lawyer of about 40 years, I want to ask you not to try to practice too much law with that degree, but you are to be congratulated. The recognition ceremony was for your many, many years of public service to the people of Pike County, to the people of Eastern Kentucky, and to the people of all of Kentucky. And I personally just wanted to commend you for that, and I know this court joins me in congratulating you on that high honor.
Thank you, Judge Hayes.
Does any, now that you've had a brief moment to review the agenda for personnel, does any member need any further meeting on it? Can we do it here?
On what, John?
Do we need to go into executive session?
John, we might need to. I don't know. I've got some comments I want to make on the. You're talking about our people we're going to hire.
Yes.
Well, I don't necessarily have to go back there, but I just had some recommendations or comments I was wanting to make on some of these, and we can do it here or in there either one.
Just as long as I don't think we need to be making any personal comments about any employee.
I ain't gonna throw you no curveballs.
Okay.
Straight.
So,
are we going to go into personnel before we go into magistrate's comments, or
We'll go ahead and get this, and
we'll get this first? Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. The three items are this. I'm sure all the members of the court have heard about our good friend and great Commissioner of Solid Waste and his health problems, and it appears now he's going to be off for a considerable period of time. The largest department in county government needs someone over it, and we're fortunate to have Jerry McNamee, to be able to move into that position. And so we recommend him for the position of temporary solid waste commissioner at a 5A pay rate plus his longevity, not Mike's, effective April 25th, 2012. And for so long as Mike is off on sick leave. Next, we would request approval to move Larry A. Hensley from his present job, and this is on both Mike Lyons and Jerry McNamee's recommendation that we move Larry A. Hensley from his job, and I believe that's truck driver now, over at the landfill, to the temporary landfill manager. In other words, he would now take over for Jerry over at the landfill. That would be at a 4A pay rate plus his longevity, both those effective April 25th. Finally, Judge, we need to hire a temporary loader for one of our employees, Jason Burke, who's presently off on workers' compensation, and we'd ask approval to hire Daniel Blankenship as a temporary loader for solid waste area number 3 at a 2H pay rate. That would be effective April 27th, 2012, and that's all we have in personnel.
Judge, before you make a motion, I don't want to be out of order, but I do think that we probably should go into executive session to talk about some of this. So I'll make the motion pursuant to KRS 61-810 that we move into executive session to discuss specific personnel matters.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy. Mr. Robinson. Mr. Dotson.
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes. I ask you to bring your copies with you so you'll have something to talk from. Pike County Fiscal Court to go back in special session. Have a motion, Magistrate Murphy. Have a second, Magistrate Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Mr. Anderson. Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy. Mr. Robinson. This is to go back in session. Mr. Dotson.
Yes.
Mr. Harris. Judge Rutherford.
Yes. Jeannie, would you give us our options first? Judge Hayes, we're going to do this special work session.
Do it on 10th, but the more, that doesn't give her a lot of days.
Is those dates on Wednesday or Thursday? Now, Leo don't get back till Friday.
Tuesday, Wednesday.
That's the week before. Judge, I'll make a motion. We have our work session on May the 9th at 6 p.m.
What day is that on?
Wednesday evening.
That'd be all right with me.
We all right with you?
Second.
Have a motion, a second, have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. Judge Hayes.
Judge, personnel would withdraw the request previously made for the court's approval with regard to Mr. McNamee and Mr. Hensley, and the court will reconsider that at a future time. That leaves us with only one recommendation: approval to hire Daniel Blankenship as a temporary loader for solid waste area number 3 at a 2H pay rate effective 4/27/2012.
Are there a motion in regard to that?
You mean to make a motion?
You're the motion.
That's my motion and my recommendation and my motion to have a second.
Second.
Have a second from Mr. Anderson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. Magistrate's comments. Magistrate Anderson.
I don't have any comments, Judge.
Magistrate Johnson.
That's the only thing I got, Judge. My brother-in-law, Charles Sloan, he's been real ill over at the hospital, and they sent him home today. Hospice is going to start taking care of him now. He's real sick.
I asked Judge Hayes to make sure that he got on some prayer lists because Charles is our friend.
My wife, she's getting a little better. She fell in the bathtub in Louisville, broke her collarbone and stuff. They got
Put a plate
steel in her shoulder. And she's a pretty sick woman, a lot of pain and stuff.
Yeah, I run into chick over at the hospital. My father-in-law's over there. Magistrate Murphy, Magistrate Robinson, Magistrate Dodson.
Judge, I've got a question for the court. I need my road foreman has informed me that we need a roller, that our roller is not up to par, and he's checked on some different places to buy one, and he's found one. It's a rent-to-own deal, and I think it was around $19,000, wasn't it, Frankie? And I wanted to run this by the court. I think it would be taken out of the road fund for payment on this roller. It wouldn't be money that the court would have to come up with. And Frankie said we didn't have to do anything other than, I guess, go ahead and continue to rent it, to rent to own.
Mr. Stacy, is your mic on? I didn't hear that. Did you say rent to own?
It's a lease.
Lease?
It's a lease purchase. It's still under the 20,000 aggregate.
Mr. County Attorney, I don't see any problem with that.
I need a roller too,
Mr. County Attorney.
Everything I got.
Judge, I guess county attorney has told me this was a special meeting and we wasn't supposed to bring it up, but I thought this was scheduled as a regular and a special, taken over for our next meeting next week. That's what I called Rose yesterday and asked her about putting things on the agenda. And my impression was that this meeting here was taking the place of the one for next Tuesday. And then we were going to have a special meeting with it.
Mr. County Attorney.
You are correct in about everything you just said, Magistrate Dodson. However, anytime you move the regular scheduled meeting to a different date or a different time, it makes it a special meeting, and you can only discuss items that are on the agenda. You are correct that this takes the place of a regular meeting, and I can see why you would think that it's a regular meeting, but it becomes a special meeting because it's not held on the day that's scheduled by the administrative code, so it had to be duly advertised with the items on the agenda.
Well, really, County Attorney, we've not rented it or using it. We were just covering the bases. The road foreman told me he'd talk to Frankie, and I said, well, I don't want to do anything on my own without taking it up into the court. So under magistrate comments, I guess I'm legal to go ahead and discuss it. And that's what I'm doing. You know, we won't take any action until the next meeting. We don't have to have it right now, but I just wanted to.
If it's emergency, I will authorize the lease and then approve it to the next meeting. You let me know.
But that was one of the things, and I guess, are we still allowed to do our magistrate comments in this special meeting? Well, you know, the last court meeting we had, I'd asked Frankie to bid out our swimming pool projects, and we are running close to a month before we open them, and we need to go ahead and continue to work on Johnson Bottom Pool. Our county employees have been doing a lot of work over there, and I just need to know what we need to do to get that pool up and ready to go. Damus has contacted some of the other people, to my knowledge, that the judge had asked him to contact to get some more prices and quotes on repairing the damages that we have with our pool over there right now. And to my knowledge, there's not been anybody had talked to him about doing any more of that work.
I have not received any of the quotes yet. I have contacted them, but I have not got any.
I would like to go ahead, Judge, and I think, John, don't we have enough money in the Parks Recreation Rhonda and Jonda to go ahead and pay to have that pool completed and finished? I think his bid would be less than 18, wasn't it, Damus, according to how we wanted to do it, and I'll let you make a recommendation how you think we need to do it, Damus.
Yeah, his was actually a little over 18,000, but it's still under the high bid. So, but we haven't got any quotes from any of the contractors as of yet as to whether they'll do the work or not.
But didn't he quote it two ways? If he done it by the hour, it could be a lot cheaper, or
yes, he quoted
no more than 18 or 19 or whatever.
Yes, he quoted it both ways, by the hour and by the contract.
I just want to see us get it done, Judge. You know, I've hammered around, hacked around that swimming pool for a year. I could have built 20 roads for what I've done for that swimming pool.
To comply with the statute, move on.
And you know, we've got our employees of our work, and they repairing the fence and concrete work and doing what they can do. And I don't want to wait till May the 15th and say, you know, we need to get this pool fixed. And I talked to the contractor, and he said if we would give him the okay, he could have it up and going by that date. And we need to locate that sweeper, that cleaner. Did you ever find that?
No, not as yet, but it's at one of the other pools. It's either at Virgie or at
Davis, I don't think your mic's on. I think when you hold your hand on it, it's off.
Yeah, it's on. It's either at Virgie or Hardy. It's one of the two.
Oh, we do have one?
Yeah.
Okay. But Judge, that's what I wanted to try to get cleared up on. That thing seemed like we're not going anywhere. We make two steps forward and one back.
If the money's in the budget, and move on. County attorney's got no questions on it, move on.
Needs to go through
Magistrate
Dodson, get a PO and do it.
And we had a bill last court meeting that we owed this guy. And John, I don't think we've ever paid him yet, have we? It was for work he has already done to try to find out the problems that was wrong with the pool.
Yeah, it has. Atlanta does have that bill. I don't know if she's actually turned it in to you yet or not, but she does have that bill.
It may come up in for May's bills to be paid, but it was not given to me, or I hadn't seen it prior.
We okayed for him to do this work about 2 months ago, wasn't it, Damus?
Yeah.
Make sure the bill gets to the budget office of the treasurer.
Get approved for payment, even though you.
Do what?
You'll have to get approved for payment once he does the work. That's the way all the bills process through. But nobody specifically gave it to me or Rhonda to say we need this done today. As Damus has said, it's turned in to go through with the PO, and it'll come in on May's bills.
But this bill is an old bill, and it was. I think we gave it to John Doug or the judge with the other paperwork, and Damus was going to get up with him. And since then, he's sent another bill, and I gave it to Damus, or faxed it to him, and then he faxed it over to the Public Works Department.
Going through the proper channels then.
So it'll take, what, 2 more months?
2 more weeks.
2 more weeks?
2 more weeks.
The bills is when it'll go through, because it didn't make it for the April cutoff.
Yeah.
On the 10th.
Well, you know, we just need to pay our bills as we owe them, and I guess it's probably just to slip through the cracks there, not getting it in there right. But that's all I have.
Magistrate Harris.
Judge, on Monday, this coming Monday, April the 30th, at Southside Elementary School at 1 o'clock, we're going to have the Kentucky Association of Counties, the executive director, Denny Nunley, is going to be there to unveil in Eastern Kentucky an activity book for third graders in conjunction with County Government Month, which is April every year, and that's taught to third graders. It's the year, third grade is the year that students are supposed to learn about county government and the county offices and what they do and the importance of the offices. And that program is going to be on Monday at 1 o'clock. And we've sent letters out to the officials that are elected countywide if they want to be there and tell a little bit about what their office does, the importance of their office. They're invited to be there, and that we hope, Judge, you or somebody from your staff can be there. And any magistrate who would like to have this program in their district, if you'd like to present it to any elementary school in your district or whatever, let me know after the meeting, and I'll get you copies of these activity books. They're like coloring books for third graders, and you fill in the name of your county elected office, who your county attorney is or who your Commonwealth attorney is, and then the kids are able to learn a little bit about their county government. So that's going to be Monday, April the 30th at 1 at Southside, and if anybody else wants to some of those activity books, we can make sure that you get them. You can do that in your third grade classes in the elementary schools in your district if you'd like to. That's all.
Thank you, Magistrate Harris. That's all we have on the agenda for this special meeting, so I'll have a motion to adjourn. Have a motion, a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson. Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy. Mr. Robinson. Mr. Dodson. Mr. Harris. Judge Roseford.